the Global Green Growth Institute, working with developing countries to achieve poverty reduction and inclusive, sustainable economic growth.
Papua New Guinea is a country of immense cultural and biological diversity. Renowned for the hundreds of ethnic groups and over 800 unique languages that spread across Papua New Guinea's 22 provinces, and for the more than 200,000 plants and animal species that inhabit its 600 islands. Papua New Guinea is also rich in diverse natural resources. The government of Papua New Guinea is committed to ensuring that these natural resources benefit all of the country's growing population of over 8 million people. Though Papua New Guinea has made considerable strides towards building a sustainable and responsible economy in recent decades, the impacts of climate change threatens to undo the country's development gains.
When we talk about climate change, it's a big topic to talk about, but going down straight to the real life, it really affects our life.
Climate change has a lot of impact recently in a lot of, especially the coastal villages.
In terms of the sea level rise, which is now causing coastal flooding.
We also experience food problem when we have a drought period of shortage of food.
To overcome these climate change challenges and achieve Papua New Guinea's development goals of becoming a middle-income country by 2030 and among the 50 countries in the Human Development Index, the government is integrating climate action and green growth principles into its overarching national development framework, such as the Vision 2050 Plan, the National Strategy for Responsible Sustainable Development, and the Medium-Term Development Plan 3. These efforts are being undertaken through an inclusive engagement of national, provincial and community-level stakeholders and in collaboration with regional and international development partners.
Well, Papua New Guinea has so much potential in terms of promoting sustainable development with the wealth of natural resources. We have a very strong enabling environment. We have the overarching Vision 2050 that sets out our overall commitment or target, which is to be 100% carbon neutral by 2050. Now that's a big target, but that's further supported by key policy and strategic documents like the National Strategy for Responsible Sustainable Development and the National Climate Compatible Development Policy. Climate change is a multi-sectoral, multi-faceted challenge. It'll take a multi-stakeholder approach to solve the challenge.
Papua New Guinea has mandated its Climate Change and Development Authority under the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Climate Change to coordinate and drive the country's climate action efforts. A critical role of the CCDA is to mobilize international climate finance for projects in Papua New Guinea that aim to mitigate and build resilience to the impact of climate change. The CCDA does this by engaging regional and international funds and organizations supporting climate action efforts in developing countries. The Green Climate Fund, as the financial mechanism of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, is one such international organization that the CCDA is working with to catalyze investment in Papua New Guinea's low-carbon, climate-resilient development. As Papua New Guinea's nationally designated authority to the GCF, the CCDA is the focal point for GCF-PNG collaboration on climate finance and is responsible for coordinating and supporting all stakeholders in Papua New Guinea to access GCF financial resources.
The Climate Change and Development Authority is mandated under the Climate Change Management Act to promote sustainable development through adaptation and mitigation activities. CCDA's role is also to mobilize climate finance. Access to climate finance is a big challenge. For the Green Climate Fund, it's been instrumental in helping Papua New Guinea through the Readiness grant. Papua New Guinea, we were fortunate enough to access funding with the help of some of our key delivery partners such as the Global Green Growth Institute. The readiness support that's currently being received is focusing on 3 key areas. First is institutional strengthening. Second is mobilizing private sector. Third is stakeholder awareness and engagement.
To effectively carry out its role as the nationally designated authority, the CCDA is implementing the GCF Readiness project in partnership with the Global Green Growth Institute. Through the GCF Readiness project and with the support of GGGI, the CCDA aims to build its institutional capacity, work with the private sector to contribute to climate-resilient, low-carbon development in PNG, and develop a multi-stakeholder GCF country program that will guide Papua New Guinea's work with the GCF moving forward. By implementing the GCF Readiness project, the CCDA will ultimately strengthen PNG's engagement with the Green Climate Fund and help ensure that climate finance reaches where it is needed most, on the ground.
We're looking forward to support that will help the community in building up a seawall. Most of the people there grew up in the coast and they want to remain in the coast, so they really need a seawall to protect their coastline.
What is very important at the moment is to take action is mainly from the provincial level to establish certain policies.
Our community need to take climate action on the ground by mostly more awareness from the assistance from the government level. By the village people need a lot of training.
The community has the resource, but the problem is they need some sort of funding to pay for other things that will help the community to rebuild the seawalls.
The Climate Change and Development Authority is working to build its capacity, engage the private sector, and develop the Papua New Guinea GCF country program by delivering a series of regional and sectoral consultations with government, civil society, and private sector stakeholders. Regional workshops on GCF readiness have been carried out in Mount Hagen to engage the provinces of the Highlands region, Leh, to engage the provinces of Momasi region, Kimbe, to engage the provinces of the Islands region, and Alotau, to engage the provinces of the Southern region. Over 200 stakeholders from provincial government authorities, NGOs, private sector, civil society organizations, including faith-based groups, have participated in these consultations to communicate to the CCDA their province's priorities, needs, and plans to address climate change.
The effects of climate change is widespread, and each of the region has their own experience. What we're currently looking at with the engagement so far at the regional level is taking stock of where the priorities are and doing a small mapping exercise of the different actors on the ground. That's the focus that we have. How do we bridge the divide between the resources that's out there?
The priorities and plans drawn from the regional workshop will support and guide the CCDA to work with provinces to access GCF climate finance and in convening national stakeholders from the agriculture, forestry, energy and transport sectors. The culmination of these regional and sectoral consultations and inclusive engagement of diverse stakeholders will be Papua New Guinea's GCF country program. Validated at a national workshop, the Papua New Guinea GCF country program will be the blueprint guiding CCDA and GCF collaboration to address climate change and funding priorities, and join PNG's NDC implementation roadmap and SDG 13 roadmap as strategic tools to help achieve national development goals and build a low-carbon climate-resilient country.
Stakeholders in all the province, we all work together, then we will address the issues of the climate change.
In partnership, we can work together to build a stronger policies and laws so that we can live a better and healthy environment in Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea recognizes that achieving its tremendous development, green growth potential can only be realized through strong climate actions. With the support of steadfast local, national, regional and international partners, the CCDA is leading the effort to enable and deliver strong climate action to where it is needed most in Papua New Guinea.
CCDA has the capability to provide the leadership necessary to help PNG achieve its climate resilient development agenda and commitments.
Papua New Guinea, committed to combating climate change in partnership with the global community and to benefit the country's people for generations to come.
It is our responsibility now as communities to think globally and act locally.
Let's make PNG a climate change leader.